All right, Clemson, Miami. We've got Clemson's taking money. Wow. Just as we speak, this opened 2.5. Clemson is road favorites. 3.5 road favorites, up to 4 in some spots. 49, 50 the total. Actually, the total I think is going down. It was 50. It's down to 49, 48.5. Look, people are just crashing on Miami. Just the brain fart of all time from Cristobal at the end of the Georgia Tech game, which they somehow lost as a massive 3-touchdown favorite. And then just, they were in it for a while against North Carolina, but the bad defense couldn't stop them in the second half. Tar Heels get the victory. And now that's 2 crushing losses in a row. This team's thinking win the ACC and maybe be a playoff contender a couple of weeks ago, especially when they trounced A&M and they had all these great performances. Now, all of a sudden, so many of their aspirations are out the door. Can't be in the playoff, can't win the ACC likely anymore. They have 2 ACC losses now on their resume. So I get people back in Clemson thinking maybe this is going to go off the rails here for Miami based on what's happened the last 2 weeks. That being said, I'm now seeing 3.5 to not really in love with laying on the road with Clemson. I mean, it's still an offense, and Klubnik's still trying to grow in it. Again, he thought the offense was coming to life. In the loss against Florida State, I thought he still played well. Syracuse, he played very well, but then he took a step back, and the offense took a step back against Wake. They struggled, and they were fortunate, life and death, against Wake Forest to win that game 17-12, and that was at home as well. So offense still has some issues. So I don't know if I'm ready to lay more than a field goal with Clemson, but I don't want Miami. Not after these last 2 losses. I worry about that mentality and where they're at because a lot of their, they're starting to think some grandiose dreams prior to the last 2 games, and all those dreams are dashed now with these back-to-back losses against Georgia Tech and North Carolina. So probably a game I won't bet as of right now. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, and Clemson's coming off their bye, right? Against Wake Forest.
That's true, and a big situational advantage. You're right for Clemson off a bye week. Yep.
I think that's big for them. And what the big key too is they've just whipped Miami too. These last few times they played, like just blowouts. They've just really kicked their ass. And I do think they're better. One thing though is with Miami, they had a ton of yards. 4 turnovers. It's just awful. The picks by Van Dyke. They had a couple fumbles. You can't have 4 turnovers and think you're going to win the game. North Carolina just got there the second half. I think they could hang around. I want to watch this one through the week more. It's just, how do you take a Miami team that's got to just feel like shit right now? But you got to get up. Big game versus Clemson. Both these teams, are not happy after losses this year. But yeah, if I get 4, I might look Miami's way.
And look, I've criticized Sweeney, Dabo, the last couple of years and about some of his coordinator hires, which haven't been great. Some of his coaching decisions and game management have been bad. But, man, this guy looks like Bill Walsh and friggin' Chuck Noll and Vince Lombardi compared to Mario Cristobal from that standpoint. So this is the one game he probably does have an edge, and the bye week too.
Yeah, it's run for the hills. Yeah. Bettors are, from Miami.
Yeah. In theory, this is Clemson coming into their place. They should be amped up, but we'll see. And even if they are amped up, I don't trust them to win a game like this. And the one thing about Clemson is their defense is still playing pretty good, reasonably good this season. Okay, Florida State, they struggled a bit, but that's a hell of an offense. Other than that, I think Clemson's defense has been pretty good so far this year.